The shocking moment of the Denver Supercross will never be forgotten, but it will sting a little less. Eli Tomac lost a nearly sure Monsterenergy Supercross championship with an injury while leading his home race. That's terrible, but when news quickly spread that he had torn his Achilles tendon, most left the stadium thinking this was probably the last race of Tomac's legendary career. Turns out Tomac is coming back, because he says he didn't want his career to end that way. Good for him and good for fans of Monsterenergy Supercross. We won't tell Eli that he actually looked heroic even while riding off the track with his injured leg dangling off the foot peg. We're used to athletes writhing in pain with a torn Achilles. Eli was stoic as always. Eli once said about his classic beast mode charges at the end of the race, and he said he simply just keeps going the same speed when everyone else slows down. As for looking so tough in Denver, Eli explained that, while getting hurt at his home race certainly wasn't nice, it was fortunate to at least be in Colorado, so he could get up to Vail and into surgery quickly. Eli got the Achilles surgically repaired on Sunday. It's rare for a racer to get into a world-class surgery center that quickly, and he believes that helped him get a jump on recovery. The legendary Tomac will not only be back, he'll also be back, conceivably, as he was before. This won't be a diminished version of the 7-time AMA national champion. The major reason for all of this is pride. Tomac, facing a major injury at age 30, could have called it quits that night in Denver. He didn't want it to end that way. With Eli possibly the same as he ever was, the differences might come from those around him. The 2024 field is not what we saw in 2023. Chase Sexton is now the Monsterenergy Supercross champion and races for Redbull KTM. Jett and Hunter Lawrence have now entered the class. And Cooper Webb, who split Supercross titles with Tomac over the 4-year span from 2019 to 2022, is now Tomac's teammate. It's also worth noting that Tomac and Webb were again 1-2 in SX points, ahead of Sexton, before they both went out with injury late in the campaign. Keep going, and there are so many more stories and changes. The Lawrence brothers' impending move is probably the biggest, because it sets up a next-generation Jett against previous-generation Eli battle we thought we might never see. We've seen Sexton and Webb versus Tomac, but never Jett and Hunter. Eli said that he, like most injured riders, couldn't bear to watch the races for a few weeks after he got hurt. Then he added that after he heard Jett had won 12 motos in a row to start the season, he realized he better start to tune in and see what the guy was doing. Eli was laughing as he said this. Today's Tomac is so bright, so happy, so light, compared to the stoic Eli of just a few years ago. Tomac does say he expects that the team will share data from both he and Webb for bike setup. He's okay with that. For Tomac, the timing was exceptional because when Deegan showed up he was just getting back into Supercross, so having another good rider helped him gauge his progress. He says Deegan did a good job considering he was on a 250 at elevation. Deegan is the perfect partner for Tomac because they will likely never race each other. Well, probably not. When we asked Eli about his long-term plans, he just said he's racing on a 1-year deal, but does not know, at this time, if this year is the last year. He could extend his deal through Pro Motocross and SMX if he wants, and he's also not billing Supercross in 2024 as a last hurrah or farewell tour. It could be his last campaign, but he is leaving the door open. If he still feels he has more to give, he'll keep on racing. That, in the end, is the best news of all. Eli's moment in Denver was a bad one, but it wasn't his last one.